The 2023 NFL Draft is today, and we are super excited for it, especially if you're living in Houston and you're a Houston Texans fan. You are super excited for the 2023 NFL Draft. The Texans have the number 2 overall pick. They have number 12 overall pick, and I'm going to be getting into who I think the Texans should get, who I think they will get at number 2 and number 12, if they might trade up and down, and my top 10 picks at this year's draft. So to start off with the second overall pick, I have the Houston Texans taking CJ Stroud, quarterback from Ohio State, the second best quarterback in this draft behind Bryce Young from Alabama. CJ Stroud offers you a huge upgrade at the starting quarterback position for the Texans. Texans need a quarterback, and it's a great position to get him here at number 2 overall. He's a franchise quarterback. He has those traits. He has the ability. He has a really good deep ball. He has the ability to step up in the pocket, make some quick throws. He can navigate through some pressure, make throws on the run. He can get you those tough yardages through the running game as well. Someone that I think can really just develop and just help this offense grow. And I think with the new head coach, you bring him in, you bring in a new quarterback, and I think you're set up for the future, which is why I would go with CJ Stroud here. At number 2, some other options here really enticing to get Will Anderson Jr., the edge from Alabama. I would not be surprised if they go that way. I'd be happy with Will Anderson. I love Will Anderson. I think he's a great player. He's the best player in this year's draft. Would love him on the team. But I think you really highly need to adjust his quarterback position. You don't know who's going to be available at 12 later on in the draft. In relation to quarterback, CJ Stroud is better than Hendon Hooker. He's more qualified than Anthony Richardson, and it's debatable between him and Bryce Young. So I think CJ Stroud is the pick for the Texans. At 12 overall, I have them moving down. I think GM Nick Caserio is going to be moving down from number 12. And they need an edge rusher, so they're going to get Lucas Van Ness, the edge from Iowa. He's going to be available at 14, 15, so they'll move down a couple of spots, maybe get in another pick later on in this year's draft, or something of that sort. That's what Nick Caserio likes to do. So, and then you get an edge here, Lucas Van Ness, something that the Texans need. From Iowa, kind of a underrated name here. More of a kind of like a splash player, makes some plays here and there. Really has a great power skill set of moves. Quick to start off the edge, long arms, had 33 tackles, 8.5 for a loss, 7 sacks in 14 appearances during a freshman All-American appearance. 11 tackles for a loss, 6.5 sacks in 38 among his 38 tackles in his next season at Iowa. In 13 games, he's had 6 nationally with 2 blocks. I like him here. Of course, Nick Caserio comes in from New England. He's a kind of player that kind of resembles that kind of way, kind of culture. I like that guy down here in Houston. I'm just going to go through my top 10 picks here really quick. Of course, you have Bryce Young going number 1 to the Panthers. That's obvious to me. Just talked about Stroud. Will Anderson going 3rd overall after the Texans skip on him and get their quarterback. Anderson going to the Cardinals. Will Levis, I see him going to the Colts. Wouldn't be surprised if that is indeed Anthony Richardson. Jalen Carter, number 5 overall to Seattle. Tyree Wilson drops. I know they have Aiden Hutchinson already, but if you pair him up with Tyree Wilson, you have an elite pass rush right there. They could easily get Devin Witherspoon. They easily could get him there, but I have the Raiders picking him up next. Number 8, Bijan Robinson, one of the best offensive players in the draft, the running back from Texas. Paris Johnson, one of the best tackles in the league, goes to the Bears to protect Justin Fields. And the Eagles add Nolan Smith from Georgia, the edge rusher. Now, my dream scenario for the Houston Texans, that is to get Will Anderson, number 2 overall, the edge from Alabama. And then at number 12, like I said, this is a dream scenario. Anthony Richardson is still available, and you pick up your quarterback from Florida. Anthony Richardson, the highest ceiling in this draft, the most talented quarterback in this draft. You're getting someone that is so athletic, so elite in terms of arm strength, someone that just is so versatile, so mobile, just can bring you so much, has the highest ceiling in this draft, and someone that you can truly believe in as once he develops is going to be the best quarterback in this class. So that's what I would go with if a dream scenario for the Houston Texans. They could easily get Will Anderson, don't know about 12, which is why they trade down to get Lucas Van Ness. But in this case, They could trade down to get Hendon Hooker if they get Will Anderson. They could also get a receiver here. Jaxon-Smith and Jigba would be a choice. That's kind of another scenario that I mentioned. You get CJ Stroud at 2. If you really want to capitalize on offense, you get Jaxon-Smith and Jigba, the wide receiver from Ohio State, at 12. You can trade down a little bit and get him. If the Texans do go Tyree Wilson at 2, the edge from Texas Tech, but I think is highly unlikely. They can get a quarterback at 12. I think Will Levis has a possibility of dropping in this draft, or whether it's Anthony Richardson, or they could, again, trade down for a wide receiver. That's Jaxon-Smith and Jigba. They can say Flowers as well, the speedy guy from Boston College. A lot of choices here for the Houston Texans. This draft is just so unpredictable. One of the most unpredictable drafts I've seen, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment what you think the Texans will get at 2 and 12, and I will see you in the next one.